I'm a sweaty.
All right, well, Dylan and I had been spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to frame the van another day. But now Dylan's mom, Jenny, and I have been trying to figure out for a very long time how to frame the van. And we finally have come up with a little bit of a plan. So I'm gonna show you what that's like. So we've cut out these vertical length ones and we're gonna put 3 in the back. And we're gonna put them like right next to the window so that we can kind of make a windowsill. And then also 3 on this side up. And then we're going to put ones on these all the way across, and we're going to do up here too.
Like this. Like this. And like one up here. Like that.
Perfect.
Cut them.
Yeah. Awesome. And we're going to cut them and test it all out. We got a rivet tool to frame the van because we don't want to drill a lot of holes into it. Our rivet tool came with a bunch of different size rivets over here, and then the tool or the head that you need with the rivet. So basically the way a rivet works is as you put the rivet on the tool, it scrunches it up and puts it tight into the hole.
This is a rivet nut tool we got online. What happens is there's a mandrel right here that spins with a nut on it, and you get to choose your size of that. You want to choose a size that's the same as the rivet nut that you have. This one is M8 and this is M8. When you have it fully extended like this, you screw on the rivet nut. And then what's going to happen is when you pull back, this is going to push up and this is going to hold this back. So it's going to squeeze the rivet nut closed. So you want to put it in the hole. And then you go like this. And then you open it back up and you can see there's a little bit of spacing. So you turn this knob to get it to go back in more. And then you pull again and that tightens it more. And then to release, turn to the left. This takes a while.
So we have a mixture of M8 and M10 rivets that we're going to use. This is a bigger hole, so we've used an M10 here. And basically it's already riveted in, it's stuck, and now we can just put a bolt into this rivet instead of having to drill a hole into our van's walls. So we have our rivet nuts in, as you can see, and then in order to measure where the holes go in the framing, we just measured the distance in between the rivet nuts, and we're going to mark that now on the wood. Alright, so we are drilling some pilot holes into our wood before we drill the holes for the bolts to go in. So I'm just going to get close to the wood, make sure I'm on the spot, and I'm going to go really slow to start. And then I'm just going to go all the way through. Our first piece of framing is in, and it looks like it's pretty sturdy, which is great. So we've done a couple now, and we are going to continue doing the rest, but we've come into some snags because there's not enough holes where we need rivet nuts to go. So now we're measuring out where we're gonna drill some holes into the van sides and then put the rivet nut. We put in our windowsill vertical pieces, and then we cut all of our other vertical pieces, and we're gonna put them up along the rest of the wall. Because we have windows, our wall's gonna have to go in a little bit, so we're making our vertical framing right next to the window, and we're putting some sort of wood is going to go in between, so we're measuring so that we have the space that we need in between the window and the vertical piece of framing.
So we're drilling holes into the frame, and when you're drilling the holes, shavings kind of fly everywhere, and to try to minimize rust as much as possible, we don't want the shavings wherever we can keep them out. So one person holding the vacuum while the other person is drilling gets a good amount of them, Some still fly out and you have to clean it up. And to focus the suction a little bit more, we taped off one side so we get a little bit better flow. All the metal shavings are sticking to me because I'm sweaty and I don't have my awesome tube socks. So I'm vacuuming myself.
Right here you can see our first one, which was our test one right here. And basically you want to be really careful when you're doing this, because if it goes up a little bit, you're going to drill into the van and outside of it. So this was the first test hole, and as you can see, if I get this right, the rivet nut fits perfectly up there. So we're feeling good about this strategy. And of course we Rust-Oleum'd all the holes because we want to be extra careful that we don't get any rust in our van. Also, it's black, but it's okay because it's going to be covered. We have put up all our horizontal pieces. So we just cut each piece to size to fit in between the struts. And then we measured them, as you can see, and put the bolts right where we had drilled the holes earlier. And they're looking really good and they're really sturdy. We cut 3 inches pieces of plywood to put into our ceiling, and then we measured where the rivet nuts were supposed to go based on the holes that we drilled in them. And now they're all in and it's almost ready for our ceiling to go up. For the front section, we've cut these little pieces out of the mat that goes on the top, and we're going to use wood glue to put little pieces in each of these so that the shiplap can just sit on top or on the bottom of that and be screwed up into the wood blocks in the front. So we made these small little pieces to go on the front. We cut them with the miter saw and then we sanded them down so that they fit perfectly on the front of our ceiling. We used wood glue to put this up, and now we're holding it up with tape because we don't have a clamp that will work in this space. Very happy with how our framing has turned out. We are waiting for those front pieces to dry, but overall, it's looking really good. If you enjoyed this video on framing the van, don't forget to subscribe so you can get all of the details on our van build and our van adventures.